Good morning, everybody, or bonjour. This is Morten from English TV. I have the pleasure of being here at Hunkeler Innovation Days, and this is our first day. And I guess we are quite excited. Pat and I, we are the host, and it's a pleasure to see Jennifer and Daniel here. So fantastic to see you guys. Thank you very much. Hunkeler Innovation Days, right?
So let me start by saying, if you've never done Hunkeler Innovation Days, if you're one of those people who maybe you've just discovered Hunkeler Innovation Days, you would not want to be anywhere else on earth if you are in the print industry this week. Do I get that correct?
Oh, you definitely get that right. And it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just about 2 years ago and we are already back in Lucerne, 2025, in that great environment with that very specific people coming to that show. It's really exciting. You don't want to be somewhere else.
Right, so Daniel, this time, and Jennifer, you feel it too, that this time when we're here, the halls are arranged a bit differently than they've been in the past.
And it's bigger.
It feels huge, but it's still very personal.
And let me make a point there. It is actually still the same size. We just have different arranged. We did give the print vendors some more space, specifically to explore also the cut sheet portion of the industry.
I want to say something also, because I met Daniel at the Lucerne train station the other evening, just before everything was starting off for the weekend. And you said to me, it's amazing, we have known for 2 years that this was going to happen. It was still a little bit stressful, right?
Oh, you know.
Before an event.
But you know, the past 2 weeks, I left probably office always about 10:30 p.m. by the way, and there was still light in the office. I mean, you know, there were still people working and preparing for it.
So I was just thinking, Jennifer, I mean, obviously Canon is a much bigger company than Hunkeler, but is it also something that involves a lot of people inside Canon, or is it more professionals that you can outsource some of the work to?
No, I think it's mostly our own team that is preparing, of course, and you also couldn't, and we wouldn't want to take it away from them, because as you just said, you know, people are working late hours. They're passionate about it, and that's also one of the things that I think Hunkeler Innovation Days is about. It's about the you know, the theme that you brought up this time on Connect. It's really about this connecting people, bringing people together. So the whole team is here from many different countries, also from overseas, and we see a lot of interest and a lot of uptake, and especially in anything that's digital print and specifically digital inkjet, and that's of course where we play a big role.
Now let me just quickly weigh into that. Then you said, I mean, Canon, a big company, definitely bigger than Hunkeler, but it feels like a family. I mean, we're working so closely together over the whole year, then specifically for the shows. But I think it specifically reflects on the customer sides. I mean, we are doing such a great job with our equipment. We are to connect that in a much bigger way, and then you do have to have those relations.
And I think, Jennifer, when I walk into the Canon space, it feels very welcoming. And if I am looking for new things to be able to print and new ways to work, you have so many examples. And I got lost yesterday kind of looking at what all was being prepared to show today.
Was that because you're so low?
It's because I'm a really short person and I couldn't see over the presses. That is really what the problem was.
Yeah, no,
but one of the
joking,
things,
I
know. But we have this really great magazine that you folks are printing here live, and it's being finished live.
That's what print on demand is about, right?
That
print live.
And where else on earth are
demand,
you going to
whatever.
see this, right? You've got to come to a show where both the print hardware and the finishing hardware is working together, and the workflow is there as well.
For me, I'd like to, if you were just referring to the stand, and I hope that what you're seeing as well is, you know, technology is one part of the story. It's not the whole part of the story. If we are trying to help our customers to grow and to bring their vision to life, it's about technology, but it's also about helping them in their transformation wherever they want to go. And that is business innovation. And that's for us this like infinity loop that you're continuously, you know, technology is improving, gives you more opportunities. You have new ideas, which technology can help that. And that's what, we at Canon love to work with partners together and with our customers to make that happen.
Daniel, I can't help think about that. You were acquired last year by Müller Martini, and a lot of changes has been obviously going on in the market. You are presenting Evo, and you yesterday said to the partners that it is the first visual evidence of, let's say, collaboration with Müller Martini, right? How, when you have a design process like that, it's not just on yours and Müller Martini's side, it is also how to integrate to all your printing partners' side to make sure that you get the most out of it. How is that process?
That's a very long and good question, Morten. And let me start with that. I certainly do. But listen, let me start first about the connection process with Müller Martini. We are now somewhat more than a year on the way on that, and things are going really smoothly in that sense. We have lined up the internal process. And as you just said, one of the first things what we have done, we have lined up the engineering process. Then there is so much what we can gain from Müller Martini due to the fact that they have the experience with the large size installations, which we can bring into our equipment. And I'm sure what you are seeing here at the Innovationsdays with the Generation 8 Evo, that's just the beginning of it.
But that's also because you know things that the rest of us doesn't know about, right? So that cannot be a big surprise to you, right?
Yeah, but let me make quickly a quick story here. I was driving up here for the show this morning, and then somehow a black cat appeared on the right-hand side of the street. The cat was looking on me, turned immediately around back in the bushes, and I said, we are safe. Everything is going to be great.
That's a good omen right there. Really good omen. So Jennifer, as you think about the next 4 days, so it's going to be long days, it's going to be a lot of conversations, your voice is already going, so that you're going to have a bit of a challenge. But what kinds of questions are you expecting to hear from the people who come into the stand? Because we know people come with a shopping list and a checkbook, and they're going to be interrogating your teams about all the things you can do. What are you listening for?
Well, I think first of all, still many times we hear questions about technology. That's what the conversation starts with. And I understand it because it is exciting technology. There must be a reason why so many people invest in it. But then when you get into the conversation and you really understand what that person that you're talking to is really looking for, where they want to go, and then, as you said before, we might be talking through a couple of those inspiring stories. I think then we're getting into the conversation, okay, which is it, which change are you going to make, which change do you want to drive, where do we want to go there, and how can we as Canon, not only with the technology, but as said, with the partner network, but also with our professional services and all that experience that we've built up with working with so many other customers, how can we help you? And of course, there's also always going to be questions about the new technologies that might not be here live on the stand, but you can see samples, and we can of course talk about how that might fit in your future.
I would also say from your booth, and we spoke about it yesterday, when you come into the first, you have like a cube where you have a customer case studies, right? It doesn't hurt that you have such good names on the wall, right?
Of course, it doesn't hurt, and we are very proud of that. And I think we should be,
showcase,
right?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great that they also like to share their story, because not everyone is open to that, and share kind of their, because these are the ones that we are displaying here. Lots of them are forerunners, of course. They are first adopters often. And not every one of their solutions is going to be adaptable for others, but it definitely sparks ideas and helps open the conversation.
But isn't that funny? The whole story of digital printing started somewhere in the 80s, and we are still talking about early adopters.
Well, but not only about the technology, but the whole...
We're still talking like variable data is something new, right?
I ran my first jobs that I did on a web press that was digital were in 1982. and it was an IBM 3800 roll-fed, high-speed toner web press. So here we are in 2025, and as you said, still early adopters. Technologies have changed, the marking engines have changed, but I think today we're more sensitive than ever to the need for great color, the ability to handle great substrates, and having workflows that will allow your engines to perform at the full rated speed, even when a really, really complex file comes at them. And we can do it.
What about the business cases? Because I was talking to Antonio from Leonard Kurz yesterday, and I said it's amazing. Sometimes you see technology that is so amazing that you can almost not believe your own eyes, right? So, but is it also something that really brings the revenue and the profit to the companies? Because I sometimes written articles where I was questioning whether we are developing the technology because we can, or because there's a clear demand in the market, right? I know that both of you are also very customer driven, but do you see a little bit maybe what I'm also talking about here, or?
But you know, from a finishing standpoint, I think specifically having inline processes, there is a big value for the customer. Certainly those systems, and also to tune up those systems, they cost somewhat more. I can't debate that. But in the end, the customer will get so much more out of that as he can do just everything on one shot. And I still have there that story with that one customer not too long ago. We have done a factory acceptance test in Vicon, where we accommodated about 10 different traditional steps in one go, in one inline system. That gentleman had tears in his eyes to see that. So, and this is really something which brings something to the table and has a value.
And I think there's also quite some examples that we have together, especially if I'm looking at the publishing industry or publishing printing, book printing,
for example. Are you thinking of the very long line at your booth in the Droop?
For example, I mean that is just fascinating, and that's a line that on the one hand, of course, was enabled by what is possible with the technology, but really driven totally by the need of the customer and saying, okay, I want to fully automate, variable book thicknesses, variable formats. I need to have all of that, and I need to have it sorted at the end, and that's something that we can't do alone. That's something that Hunkeler can't do. It's something that the customer couldn't do alone. But we made it happen, and that definitely had an impact on their business case.
And Morten, listen, I mean, you said it's a long line, and that's maybe a first impression. But that specific line, the world record on that line, it's 22,000 books on one day, fully variable. So, I mean, there is a lot of horsepower behind something like that.
When I say long line, it's just because I was so impressed. Sometimes you get impressed when you see technology that has this enormous complexity of so many different steps that, as you said, put into like a relatively small space, right? I guess that we have to also get to work today, right? Even though it's cozy to be here. Before we close for today, what are your expectations here first day?
Jennifer?
I thank you. I expect at least as many visitors as the years as 2023, and really, usually the visitors are coming here with a clear intention to see the latest in the technology and to understand where they can go from here, and to reconnect also with lots of friends, partners, and customers, and potential future customers. So very much looking forward, just connecting and seeing where these days are going to bring all of us.
Great. You know, I mean, my personal expectation is that we are going to have fun, that we can experience our great, fascinating industry. And we are on a good way in sense of visitors. Up to yesterday, we had about 8% more people having signed up already. So I think we are going to be at least on the level which we had in 2023. I strongly assume we are slightly over that. And it's all about educating our industry.
And it's an international group. I think we see more people from more countries every time we do this event.
You're absolutely right on that. I mean, we're definitely going to see more visitors out of the US. Certainly also the whole Asia-Pacific area, it's picking up, gets some more ground. So we're definitely going to see that, yes.
And what is your expectations for the show? I mean, you will be busy for Inkish, of course.
Yeah, so we have a lot to do because we're putting the magazine out every day. So we have there's a lot of writing and editing going on, but it's just learning. Because even yesterday, as we were preparing this magazine, I was talking to vendors I'd never spoken to before. So I'm learning every single hour of every single day here, and I value that as much as all the hugs.
I mean, just that is fascinating, that Pat meets somebody new in that industry.
That's true. And it's funny that the women power here are talking about all the business and technology, and we just talk about having fun, right? Well, fantastic. Have a wonderful day ahead of you, and I'm sure that it will be a successful show and hopefully also successful for both of your companies. So thank you for being here. And once again, bonjour, everybody, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.